Shalom, shalom. Kahala Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders, great millstone and well. And salutations to the brethren on the four corners of the earth, pushing the word in truth and in sincerity. This is Ross from Great Millstone, Wisconsin. And I want to say a few words, to the younger brothers that are, whether just getting into the faith or, are accumulating some years. And, this is also a reminder to, the older brothers in the faith, as well, that have been in for quite some time, because the scriptures that I'm about to bring out, they address, anger. They address, babbling, talking too much. You want to listen more than you speak. You don't want to sound foolish. You also want to, strive to become a new man and strive to learn, and we always want to increase in learning, no matter how long we've been in the truth, no matter what position we are in. We should always strive to increase in learning in the spirit of Yahweh B'Shem Yahweh Shai, and that means humbling ourselves, and that means, learning when to listen, learning when to speak, learning when, to discern when certain things should be said and things of that nature, especially talking to, the younger brothers in the faith as well, because it's easy to offend, it's easy to offend elders or younger brothers and things of that nature. So I have these scriptures based off of James, the first chapter in the 19th verse, basically some do's and don'ts. So I'm going to hop right into it. This is James chapter 1, verse 19. It says, "Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear," meaning you should hurry. You should always want to listen, slow to speak, so you shouldn't be around, talking too much, because the more and more you talk, the more room you have to have a slip of the tongue, slow to wrath, meaning and that's like self-explanatory, we should be slow to be angry. We should always analyze situations in the spirit before, brothers snap off or, brothers get angry and, and things of that nature. Always want to try and assess the situation. So I'm going to read it one more time. It says, "Wherefore, my beloved brethren, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak." And a precept to that is Proverbs, the 10th chapter in the 19th verse. It says, "In the multitude of words, there wanteth not sin." So what this is saying is that, talking a lot, there's not a sin against talking a lot, right? It says, "But he that refraineth his lips is wise." Why? Because you might say something out of turn, you might not be discerning the spirit in the room, and you might say something that's completely off according to the subject, or you might just go off on a tangent and start talking about things that, or subjects that you have no idea what you're talking about, subjects that are too high for you, So it says, "He that refraineth his lips is wise," because a man that refraineth his lips, meaning if he's not talking, what's he doing? He's listening, like Apostle Gabar always says, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason, Verse 20, it says, "The tongue of the just is as choice silver," because the tongue of the just, it says, as choice silver, meaning that they have perfect timing and discernment on when to speak, what to say, how to say it, "The heart of the wicked is little worth. The lips of the righteous feed many, but fools die for want of wisdom," because the lips of the righteous, are always going to feed you with knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. They're always going to say something that in the spirit that is meat, But fools, they're going to always just talk and talk and talk, not understanding what they're even saying themselves, And they die for wanting that wisdom, So they think talking will compensate for the wisdom, For example, the Black consciousness, Brother Polite, he thinks big words and talking very fast is as a compensator for his lack of wisdom, This is Proverbs chapter 14. Matter of fact, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's verse 17. It says, "He that is soon angry dealeth foolishly," So he that is soon angry dealeth foolishly. So if you're always angry all the time, you're always super aggressive and always snapping out on brothers and always have something combative to say, then you're dealing with these brothers foolishly, man. Even in the world, you're dealing foolishly, And matter of fact, just for edification's sake, let me look up the word foolishly. It comes from the Hebrew Ivalath. Slakia, Iwalath, which says foolishness, folly, silliness, foolishness. Here's a list of scriptures. It says, of fools are folly, fountain of foolish actions, preeminence of fools. So basically it's silly, it's vain. It doesn't really constitute to any type of edifying or anything, man. So he that is soon angry dealeth foolishly, and a man of wicked devices is hated. So this is a man of wicked devices hated, man. So if you always bringing something in from the world, trying to bring it into the truth, or if you find something in your spare time or whatever, you try to bring it, to brothers, and it's not of the spirit, or it's against the law, you're gonna be hated, man. It says the simple inherit folly, and if you look at the foolishly, like we just said, folly was one of the main words. So if an angry man dealeth foolishly, you're simple, man, and you really don't have any understanding. It says the simple inherit folly, but the prudent are crowned with knowledge, So the prudent is crowned with knowledge, man, meaning the cautious, A man that is soon angry is not cautious, and that constitutes that man is a fool, man, This is, Slakia. Matter of fact, let me go back to James chapter 1, and I'm going to start at verse 20. It says, for the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of the Most High, So if you're soon angry and you have wrath, some brothers might have this, this demon hop on them when they drink, and they start getting angry at every little thing and start wanting to huff and puff, And it says, for the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of the Most High, because the Most High is slow to wrath, So what are we supposed to be? We're supposed to be slow to wrath as well, and long suffering. It says, wherefore lay apart all filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness, and receive with meekness the engrafted word, which is able to save your souls, So if you're meek, and you're receiving the word, and you're gentle, you have way better chance of being saved than being a wrathful, a soon angry man, Because that's part of filthiness and superfluity of naughtiness, man, So that's not righteous, Let me go into Sirach chapter 32, verse 7. It says, now this is for the younger brothers. It says, speak, young man, if there be need of thee, So you always don't have to, be speaking like, with the younger men. I know it's exciting, and you're in the sweet stage, of receiving the truth, and you want to show what you've learned and things of that nature. But most of the time, when it comes to younger men, a lot of times what you say is out of turn, and this is even going to brothers that have been in the truth for a while, speaking to elders and and heads of camps and apostles and brothers in certain positions, you don't have to speak all the time, because you have the more you speak, the more room you have to put your foot in your mouth. It says, speak, young man, if there be need of thee. Only if you're needed. If you're spoken to, if someone asks you a question, and yet scarcely when thou art twice asked. So if you're asked twice in a row, your word better be short, man. That says in the next verse, it says, let thy speech be short, comprehending much in few words, so you're going to have to be able to edify what you're trying to say in a small amount of words, man. So that way it's you don't fumble over yourself. It says, be as one that knoweth and yet holdeth his tongue, So you have to be one that be as one that knoweth, meaning you understand what you're talking about, but yet holdeth his tongue. That's the point, meaning you understand, but you're still keeping quiet. Why? Because men that have been laboring in this thing more than you have, longer than you have, and have more portion of the spirit than you have, are speaking, Going back to Proverbs 10 and 19. You know what I'm saying? It says, but he that refraineth his lips is wise. You know? It says, if thou be among great men, make not thyself equal with them. You know? Meaning, don't try to put yourself on a level, man. Don't think that you know what they know. You know? Don't try to speak when they're speaking, or even have deep conversations with them. You know? And when ancient men are in place, use not many words, you know, because they can begin to be vexed, you know. You could say something that could compromise yourself. It says, but before the thunder goeth lightning, and before a shamefaced man shall go favor. You know, so if you're humble, you know, and you're quiet, or you're humble and, you know, you do your due diligence, and, you know, you perform charitable duties, you know, you shall have favor, man. You know, meaning these great men, these ancient men, you know, they're going to start taking a liking to you, man. And soon you'll be being taught all these things that you've always wanted to know, you know. This is Sirach chapter 5 verse 10. It says, "Be steadfast in thy understanding, and let thy word be the same." Meaning, be quick and be immovable. You know, be swift to hear. See, there it is again. Be swift to hear. You know, meaning you should listen more than you talk. It says, and let thy life be sincere. And this is another point too, man. You know, when young brothers, young Akim, you come into this truth, you know, you want to be sincere, man. You don't want to have any malice in your heart. You don't want to be scheming things of that nature, because I'm going to tell you right now, Yahweh Bashim Yahushua is going to he sees you, and he's going to weed you out, man. You know, and that offends him, you know. And this goes for all of us as well, man. Let thy life be sincere, you know. This is how you receive mercy, by being sincere, man. You know, by being genuine. It says, and with patience give answer. I mean, don't rush to answer a question, you know. Think before you speak. If thou hast understanding, answer thy neighbor. If not, lay thy hand upon thy mouth. Meaning, be quiet, man. You know, if you don't understand the question, or if you don't understand what's going on, you know, listen so that you can understand. Honor and shame is in talk. You know, because what you say can either honor you or shame you. And the tongue of man is his fall, you know. Speaking too much, and now he's revealing secrets you shouldn't reveal, you know. Be not called a whisperer, and lie not in wait with thy tongue, you know. So don't be talking shit, man. Don't be talking shit against brothers, you know. For a foul shame is upon the thief, and an evil condemnation upon the double tongue. You know, don't be all in a brother's face and being you know, being one way with him one time, you know, one moment, and then when he leaves, and when you go to another brother, you talking shit, man, you know, or you kissing ass, man, you know, and then you want to act different ways when it comes to brothers of lower rank and shit like that, man, you know, that's going to get you shame, man. It says, "Be not ignorant of anything in a great matter or a small," you know, so these are things we shouldn't be ignorant of, man. And this is would be regarded as a small matter, you know, because this is regarding conduct, you know. But a great matter would be something like prophecy, like the mark of the beast, you know. This is Sirach chapter 6 verse 32. It says, "My son, if thou wilt, thou shalt be taught, and if thou wilt apply thy mind, thou shalt be prudent," you know. So you have to apply yourself to this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding, man, you know, and apply yourself to be diligent in the work. If thou love to hear, thou shalt receive understanding, you know, because nobody can learn if they're talking, you know. Nobody can receive what's being said to them if they are only listening to respond. It says, and if thou bow thine ear, thou shalt be wise. Why? Because going back to Proverbs 10 and 19, but he that refraineth his lips is wise, you know. And also, if you're listening, you're learning, you know. It says, stand in the multitude of the elders and cleave unto him that is wise. You know, so if you find an elder, you know, if you have heads in your camp, men of officers in the spirit of the Lord, you know, you're supposed to cleave unto them, and you're supposed to, how do I say? You're supposed to always inquire of the scriptures, man, of knowledge. It says, be willing to hear, see again, be willing to hear every godly discourse, you know, meaning every matter that has to do with the spirit of Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. and let not the parables of understanding escape thee. This is what you're supposed to be listening for, man. If you listen, you will receive these things. And if thou seest the man of understanding, get thee betimes unto him, and let thy foot wear the steps of his door. So you should always be in the chat rooms if you guys have chat rooms. You know what I'm saying, or at brothers' houses and getting breakdowns, man. Even when it comes to the videos, in the studio shows on YouTube and watching brothers on the highways and byways, man. That's part of wearing the steps of their door. It says, let thy mind be upon the ordinance of the Lord and meditate continually in his commandments, meaning to think upon. He shall establish thine heart and give thee wisdom at thine own desire. Because now he's going to begin to sup with you. He's going to be able to open the doors of your mind. So if you apply yourself, whatever you ask for in the name of the Lord, he's gonna give it to you, man. Especially if it's knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. And this is the last scripture because this is paramount to your conduct here in the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, man. This is Proverbs chapter 25, verse 28. It says, he that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls. And we all know what happened to a city in the ancient world that had no walls. It got overrun, man. A man like this that can't understand and can't control his own spirit gets overrun by this army of demons, man. That's waiting outside the city parameters, to overrun the city. The demons are just waiting outside of the parameters of our spirit, man, to overrun our spirits, man. To overrun us and to put us in darkness, So if you don't take heed to these scriptures and take heed to the Lord and listen to what, these scriptures and other brothers are telling you through the spirit, how are you going to learn how to rule your own spirit? How are you going to learn how to have a precise defense against these demons that are trying to break down your city walls? So I'm going to read it one more time. This is Proverbs 25 and 28. It says, he that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls, meaning you're defenseless, And the thing is that the Lord, the scripture saying, 1 Samuel, the 2nd chapter, the Lord is our rock and our defense, So if you can't rule your own spirit, that means you have something that you're not doing in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, and he's leaving you defenseless. So if any brother's going through this, I advise them to figure out what it is, man, and do what you can to get back defended by Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, man. So with that, I hope you brothers and sincere sisters were edified, through the spirit of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. I want to give all praises, call halal Yahweh by Hashem, Yahushai by Hashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, great millstone Ruel, and salutations to the brethren on the four corners of the earth, pushing the word of truth and sincerity. Shalom.